right, good afternoon, everybody. Kevin Crouch here with South Metro Weather, and I know that we don't necessarily have severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings or anything like that today. Fortunately, it doesn't look like that will be part of the equation, but we do have quite a bit of rain, and really at this point, flooding is going to be the main issue here, and I did want to address that because a lot of the time, flooding is not taken seriously enough, so we have to be careful of that. Now, here's the situation as we have it. This flash flood warning includes parts of Ellis and Dallas counties. Really, in Dallas, almost the eastern 2/3 of the county, and then really in Ellis County from about I-35, Red Oak, Ovilla, Oakleaf on eastward to Ferris and Palmer and Garrett there, including parts of Waxahachie. And you can see that there's a lot of heavy rain and it's not really moving a whole lot. You also see farther to the west, we do have drier air out there, but it's taking its time. So I do expect that we will see this for at least the next 2 to 3 hours here. This flash flood warning does go until 3 o'clock. And so as we watch these storms continue on, you can see that they're migrating northeastward here, but they're not moving terribly quickly. And so the Italy area, really all along 35 here and then down into parts of Hill and Navarro counties. You also see a couple of special weather statements here. So let's get into those two and just kind of go into each of these areas. Again, here is that that flash flood warning. So from the I-45 corridor, Palmer, Garrett, Ferris, on up into Dallas County, from downtown to Richardson, Garland, Saxe, Mesquite, and Balch Springs, there down to Wilmer. And then, of course, there's another one over there in Rockwall County, but this is the one that we're watching. And I can't rule out some small hail along with this as well. You can see right here in the Oakleaf, Red Oak, Ovilla area, really that's mostly Red Oak, there is some pink there. Now, mostly that's going to indicate just heavy rain, but there could be some hail mixed in. Let's just take a quick peek. There's also a lot of folks talking about how windy it is, and the winds are not necessarily storm relative. Some of those winds are just the fact that it's just a gusty, windy day today. So keep that in mind as well. But some of that could be related to the winds today. It kind of just goes either way here. So Johnson County, we have a heavier storm there as well. Heavier storms down in Hill and Navarro counties. Really, most of our area now is getting at least some form of rain. And there's the Casey, yeah, you said it. We've got a lot of lightning today as well. You can see all the lightning strikes, especially with these stronger storms. Let's zoom into Johnson County. We have a stronger storm there with a special weather statement. And let's see, yeah, moving east at 10 miles per hour, just not moving fast at all. Minor damage to outdoor objects is possible due to penny-sized hail there. So penny-sized hail, really, that's probably the largest hail I've heard reported, or at least it sounds like it was maybe radar indicated there. So penny-sized hail possible there in parts of Johnson County, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at least some pea-sized hail there in northern Ellis County. It looks like that special weather statement in southern Hill County has been allowed to expire or been canceled at this point. So yeah, Anna, not looking at a tornado situation today. This is not your typical situation you're set up for tornadoes, these kind of scattered storms here that you don't really have one storm or another that is able to kind of produce that structure. So not looking at a tornado situation today. My main concern is going to be that flooding. If we get hail, pocket change hail, again, that penny size, I'm a little surprised that even have penny-sized hail today. To me, mostly going to be pea-sized, maybe dime-sized. Penny-sized hail, that's on the upper end for sure. But again, these storms, just a few of those stronger storms, I don't think we have widespread severe weather today. And what I want to emphasize too, I want to take a different view of this. Let's pull up the radar composite and let's look at the whole system because I want to show you where we are in relation to all of this. You can see that we're on the back side and now it's kind of starting to move this way. And if you look even farther out, get out of the way here, you can see that there's quite a bit of rain in the deep south here too. And you can generally see this circulation of this system coming this direction. So that is where we see the low pressure system that we've been dealing with the last couple of days. And yeah, unfortunately here we are putting up with more rain here. The good news is, though, we're not dealing with the kind of severe weather that they have in the deep south here, from New Orleans to Mobile. They were looking at multiple tornado warnings at once in southern Louisiana earlier today. So we're happy to be without that. But we do definitely have plenty of rain across our area, and that will continue over the next few hours here. I think by 6, 7 o'clock, most of this is clearing out. And depending on the situation to our west, if we continue to pull this dry air eastward at the current rate, it may be closer to 4 or 5 o'clock when we're able to get rid of this. But I'm trying to be conservative here. I think 6, 7 o'clock is a good enough time to kind of bank on to finally stop the rain that is falling, or at least mostly stop it. Sometimes we have those little showers that try to hang on, but I think 6, 7 o'clock tonight, I think we're in pretty good shape to get rid of most of that. Now, the good news is the rest of the week and the weekend looks fantastic. Next chance of rain comes in next Monday. It's going to be 3 Mondays in a row that we've had a chance of rain. So enjoy the weekend while you can, and enjoy the dry air while you can. It will be pretty pleasant. It's going to be windy for the next few days, but the good news is that we will be looking at drier conditions. Now let me just get back into the comments here, see what we have going on as far as this. Yeah, Lisa, you make a good point. If we could save some for August, that would be nice. Hearing a lot of just reports of very heavy rain, lots of lightning and thunder and those kind of things too. And that's kind of going to be the situation here. Just scattered showers and thunderstorms. There's another thunderclap here. Some of these are fairly loud. There's a lot of lightning and thunder out there, clearly a lot of rain. And let's take a quick look at velocity first. And you see the brighter colors here, and it's hard to really say how much of the wind is relative to storms versus how much of the wind is just part of it being a windier day. So I think it's probably a mixture of both. We don't have any severe winds out there right now. Nope, that's not quite what I'm looking for here. But if we look at the vertically integrated liquid, just a couple of areas really where we could see some smaller hail, definitely not any severe hail out there. But we do have that storm in Johnson County where it said that penny-sized hail was radar indicated. Now I want to take a quick look at the kind of the evolution of this one. Yeah, you can see that it drops down past Keene, and then now it's kind of moving this way. What's interesting about that is that it drops south, and then all of a sudden we see it being carried northeast. But you saw that little spike there, so it looks like the hail sizes are probably dropping in that storm right now. I think we're going to see a lot of that where these we have the updrafts that they increase for a while, then they kind of start to weaken, then they increase again. And we could be looking at that here. You look south of Alvarado, we have this little area here. Could be some gray in there. Again, gray is when you start getting closer to that severe hail, right? 1 inch in diameter or more. So we could be looking at that updraft spiking again. So south of Alvarado, north of Grandview right there, could be looking at some larger hail trying to increase there. So yeah, from Highland Park to Ennis, hearing increasing winds and rain. So again, this is going to be with us probably for the majority of the afternoon. Let me put this back in motion for you. This will be with us for the majority of the afternoon and the evening here. Hearing that there's some power outages there too at the border of Red Oak and Lancaster. That's going to be right where we have all of that lightning, so that's not surprising. Unfortunately, power outages with this kind of rain, the kind of lightning and thunder we have, not far-fetched either. So just understand that unfortunately the rain will be persistent today, and it's not moving very quickly. So if you are in a flood-prone area, you need to start thinking about this ahead of time, because we could easily be looking at a situation where this starts to get out of hand. And of course, the rain increasing now in Navarro County. You can see it migrating northeastward. But just a reminder, we do have drier air to the west. And if you look at this in northern Erath County here with Stephenville, north of Stephenville there, the dry air pushing pretty quickly. So we could get an earlier break than anticipated here, but I'm playing a conservative and just saying 6, 7 o'clock. I think that's when we can rely on most of this rain being out of here. And for the moment, though, yeah. So, Melly, you're saying that your septic can't handle this much rain, and I mean, that's a fact. We've had over, let's see, 0.58 inches here at the studio since midnight. So that's where we stand there. Northern Ellis County has had more. Again, that's why they have that flash flood warning in place. Right there along the Trinity River, a lot of rain, and then there in Ferris and Garrett and Palmer as well. So it's widespread, it's persistent today. We're going to see this continuing, and then as this moves out, the remainder of the day, the remainder of the afternoon and evening will be windy as well. 10 to 20 mile per hour winds, could be gusting to 30 to 35 miles per hour today. So quite warm across the area, and you'll notice temperatures will be dropping as well, especially as we get that northwest wind in here. So we were in the low to mid 60s earlier today. We're going to be dropping probably for the rest of the day with rain cooled air, and again that northwest wind bringing in some cooler temperatures there. Question of Nicole, any sign of rotation near Venus? There's not any rotation out there today. The only rotation is a very broad rotation that is the low pressure system, right? But that's not tornadic rotation. So that's all we're looking at in that regard. Cindy asking about, I guess, in the same general area as me. So my location, we are nearby a couple of creeks here. And so if you're near a creek, there's kind of a plus and minus there. Usually if you're nearby a creek, the water is going to leave your yard and go to that creek. The problem is when that creek gets out of its banks. So you just kind of have to know where you are in relation to it. If you're uphill, well, the water's going to continue flowing downward, but the street that we're on is fairly near to that creek. So unfortunately, that means that if the creek does start to rise and get out of those banks, then you're looking at a situation where you could be driving, through some of that flood water. And if you do come up to a roadway and you can't tell how deep the water is, what is the phrase? Turn around, don't drown. An inch of rain, an inch of water can take away most small cars. Inch and a half to 2 inches can take away most large vehicles, right? So you really don't want to underestimate the potential flooding on roadways out here. And I mean, I can look at my street right now and it's just rushing right down the road. So just be careful when you see water pooling over those roadways. There's some of those service roads on the highways here, of course, where they have that issue persistently. So you just want to be very, very careful out there, because it really doesn't take much at all to carry away a car. So April, you're saying you had to pull over in Waxahachie. That's the other thing too. If you have to pull over due to visibility issues, don't be bashful to do that. But please make sure that you do not, please, for the love of God, do not pull under an overpass. You're blocking the traffic behind you. You're also blocking first responders. And so do not park under an overpass. It's never, ever a good idea. Kim, you said broke a piece of plastic off under your car driving through a big puddle. Yeah, water is a strong force. I mean, if you hit water going fast enough, I mean, you're basically hitting a brick wall. And so, I mean, that's a fact. And so, yeah, you want to take water seriously and just, be very careful. So, Robbie, about the hail in Venus, and we can focus in on that storm here very quickly. So you do see that hail core beginning to migrate its way northeastward. So yes, we could have some hail in this storm. This box you see here, that's the special weather statement. And so that is going to be focusing on this storm. And it's saying up to penny size hail. I would say closer to pea to dime size hail probably with that storm. But you could have some small hail moving its way up towards Alvarado and Venus, right there towards Highway 67. So that's kind of what we're watching there. And again, it's a windy day today. Winds of 10 to 20 miles per hour possible, gusts up to 30 to 35. So it is a windy day, and not all of it is relevant or related to these storms. We are in a low pressure system right now, the center of that low pressure system pretty well moving across our area. And so that is going to cause those gustier winds. In fact, I want to take a quick look and see if I can see where the center of that low is. And we're kind of on the back side of that here. And so what you'll notice is there are some places where you can see the storms moving a different direction, and you might get concerned about wind shear and rotation of those kind of things. Fortunately, that's not really what we're looking at right now. So let's see if I can find where the center. I'm trying to pull up a model here, and seems the phone wants to go quite slow. So yeah, the center of that system is going to be pretty well right over our area. And so that's a big piece of those gustier winds right now across our area. We have a low pressure system that's right around our vicinity. And that's also part of the reason why we don't have a lot of movement in these storms, because there's not, you've got a low pressure system that across our area, and you can see here where you can see it's kind of moving this way, and then this is moving more upwards. So yeah, you have this low pressure system across North Texas, and it's making it to where the closer you get to the core, it's kind of just rotating in one spot. It's not really pushing things one direction or another so much as it's just kind of spinning over the same area. So that's what we're watching here. That's why some of these showers are not moving a whole lot. But we do have, if you look to the west, and I mentioned towards Stephenville, over west of Fort Worth there, west of Mineral Wells, that's where we have that drier air that is slowly but surely making its way eastward. So over the next several hours, the rain will continue. We'll continue to see more of this flood threat right now. We do have some of these stronger storms kind of dotted through here. Navarro County, the rain is about to really take over. Again, no severe weather in terms of very large hail, those damaging winds, tornadoes. We're really not expecting that today. I can't completely rule out a severe thunderstorm warning here or there for a storm that just briefly meets that criteria for hail, but I think it's very, very unlikely today. Again, this said special weather statement that said penny-sized hail. I think that's fairly ambitious for one of these storms. I think that's probably the worst we're going to see, and I'm a little surprised at that, but I think it's mostly penny to dime-sized hail. So yeah, Casey, you're saying that the red is pretty much sitting over Red Oak. That's what we're looking at, where this flash flood warning is from northern Ellis into Dallas counties over towards Rockwall and over towards Greenville there. It's just sitting there. That line of heavy rain is just sitting in the same general area. So that's why that warning was issued. That flash flood warning going, of course, until 3 p.m., so another 2 hours from right now. We just hit 1 o'clock. So expect more flooding to be possible across the area. A lot of lightning with these stronger storms, but the flooding is the primary concern. So stay tuned to South Metro Weather. We're going to continue to monitor this, and we'll bring more updates throughout the day. We might bring more live coverage between now and the end of the day if we continue to see flooding become an issue in other areas. But for now, just stay vigilant. If you're on the roads and you see those flooded roadways, turn around, don't drown. Make sure that if you're in a flood-prone area, that you watch that very closely as well. More updates to come throughout the day.